Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some regrets that I have had or other people may have had when studying for the SAT or the ACT. Of course, standardized tests are a huge part of the college application process and you really shouldn't underestimate their value, but at the same time, studying these exams can honestly be kind of mentally unhealthy for certain students, and it's important to know how to approach the process to make sure that you're getting the most out of your time and you don't cause yourself too much stress and anxiety. Let's go and jump in. So one warning I do want to give right off the bat is starting your studying too early. And I know this is not going to be a problem for a lot of students, but especially if you have, I'll just say, very motivated parents, that it could be. And this is honestly what I would say in my own experience. I should not have started studying as early as I did. My mom sat me down in 7th grade and had me start working on Khan Academy for the first time. She then realized that I hadn't finished algebra yet and didn't know the material that was covered on the exam. So fast forward to 9th grade when she had me start studying again after I had finished algebra. Now, granted, she did see my first practice test score and was basically like, you don't need to study after that. And that's where my self-motivation came in, and I pushed myself to continue. But even then, 9th grade, in my opinion, it's too early to start studying. You don't need to worry about that then. It's great to take a baseline practice score, in my opinion, at the beginning of 10th grade, especially for students looking to get national merit, but you really don't need to start studying before then. As long as you're just staying on track with math and finishing algebra in 10th grade, then you should be pretty good to go. And you might not even have to start studying until after 10th grade, just depending on where your first practice score places you. The second thing is the opposite, waiting too late. For many students who are watching this video, that might already be the case. It's okay, don't worry. It doesn't mean you're gonna have to put extra work in, but a lot of students I see don't begin studying or even thinking about standardized tests until the fall of their senior year, at which point you're doing so many other things. You're working in college applications, scholarship essays, extracurriculars, all these extra things that studying for standardized tests honestly comes too late. And it's not bad to study and to take these exams at this point, but you really shouldn't be spending 100 hours in a single semester cramming to just get a good score on the exam. It's not worth it. And there's a lot of other things that you can be doing in your last semester to boost your college application than the standardized tests, which is why the third thing I'd recommend, particularly if you do this, but even if you don't, is applying to test optional or safety schools. If you're not happy with your test score and your test score doesn't fall within the median or mean range for that school, then you can go ahead and apply test optional. Many universities won't penalize you for doing this. Of course, there are some schools that do require standardized tests, especially for the class of 2026 and forward. So do keep that in mind, check the school's policies that you're interested in attending. But again, always apply to safety schools, especially for top students who are applying to top 20, top 10 universities. Standardized tests are not what gets you in. It's so many other things. They look at you holistically, and standardized tests to a certain extent are what keeps your application from being thrown out, especially non-test optional schools. If you do have a bad test score, that might be what gets tossed out the door and not necessarily what gets you into the school. It's just a good benchmark when they're looking at your application. So with that said, it's always good to apply to safety schools, to test optional schools, because test scores aren't everything. So just as far as study tips go, the fourth thing I'd suggest is make sure that you aren't just studying the things that you know how to do. It's really easy to, when studying at home on Khan Academy or prep books, to want to study the things you're already confident at and comfortable in, because it feels good to see those check marks and to see those correct answers. But that's not what you should be doing. Even when you do know how to answer problems and you're just practicing doing them in order to be able to speed up time, it's not going to help you overall, because you have to be able to know how to answer all the problems on the tests on time before you can get them all within a certain time. Just knowing how to answer the problems is much more important than getting them within the certain time, because that will come with repetition and practice. So don't focus on practicing only the things that you know. And right in line with that, number 5, it's really easy to get super focused and caught up on studying one particular thing, especially if it, again, is getting comfortable or you just feel like you really have to work on a certain section. And it's not bad to drill and repeat certain problem types, but each type of problem is only worth so many points on the exam. And so don't spend all of your 20-30 hours on one problem type. It's much better to spread across a couple different problem types at least, so that you can maximize points more in that way. For example, there's probably only going to be 8 to 10 science-y inference passages on the SAT reading and writing section. You can spend 30 hours on all of those, or you could spend 15 hours there and the other 15 hours practicing your medium weaker sections like vocab and syntax or something like that. Those are some things that I've seen students doing. Those are some traps I've personally fallen into wherein preparing for the exam. I just don't want you to regret your studying time, and I hope you can make the most of it. As I already said, make sure that you don't start too early, but also make sure that you don't start too late. And along with that, apply to some safety and test optional schools. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And I don't think you're gonna regret it. You're more likely to regret not doing that in the first place, even if you don't end up attending them. Don't only study the subjects that you know, and don't get into a habit of studying the same things over and over. Make sure you spread yourself out at least a little bit in your study time. I hope that video helps you. If it did, please like and subscribe. Also, feel free to ask me questions or suggest videos in the comments below. I do make videos to viewers' requests, and I can help you study SAT, college applications, all that type of thing. So, with that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.